Hi everybody, this is Jimmy Sturr once again. Do you realize this is our 8th week in a row? Incredible. But I enjoy spending it with you, and I hope you enjoy spending it with me. We talked about everything. At the beginning, how I got started in music, and from there to some of the places we played around the world and the guys in the band. Today, I just want to tell you about a little bit of our music. Now, as you know, of course, I grew up on polka music, but I also enjoyed country music. But I also, never mentioned it that much, but I also enjoyed a little that rock and roll music from the 50s and 60s. And when I was recording around the records, our producer, Joe D'Onofrio and Ken Irwin, came up with this idea. If you enjoy rock and roll so much, why don't you take a bunch of songs, invite some of your friends, and let's try a CD with polka music. And that's exactly what I did. Actually, I did two. The very first one I did was this one called Rock and Polka. It had Splish Splash, you might remember that, Personality, Rebel Rouser, so many real great songs. And I invited a lot of my friends to record with me. Guys like Dwayne Eddy, Rebel Rouser was on this one. Willie Nelson sang a few of the songs. Lee Greenwood, he loved the song Personality. He said, "Can I sing Personality?" And I said, "Of course you can." As a polka. He said, "I'd love to do it." And he did it. And there were some other ones that were on here. We did Larry Chance and the Earls. Larry was always a big Elvis fan. And he said, "Can I do an Elvis song as a polka?" And we chose the song, "Don't Be Cruel." So Willie did a bunch of them. And also Alison Krauss. Remember Alison Krauss? Well, she was a big fan of that rock and roll era. And she wanted to do one called Dream Lover. And that's just what we did. And it sold very, very well. So then we came back and said, well, heck, if it was that big, why don't we do a second one? And that's what we did. Right after that, the following release was this one. And that one is called Shake, Rattle, and Polka. And I once again invited some of my friends to sing some of the songs from the 50s and 60s. Songs like Kansas City. Now, there's a great, great singer, a blues singer. He is absolutely wonderful. His name is Delbert McClinton. And he's on there. And Dwayne Eddy made a return visit on this CD also. He did Detour, and Willie's back. And I was always friends with the Duprees. You remember the Duprees from the 1960s? We did their song, their hit song, as a waltz. Of course, the song is called You Belong to Me. And we did a whole bunch of other songs on here. But the one that I always thought was pretty cool, I wanted to do Sea Cruise, and I told you this story several weeks ago about how I got the original singer, Frankie Ford, to sing Sea Cruise. And I told you how he was a big fan of our orchestra from seeing us on the Nashville Network with Ralph Emery. And when I called his house down around New Orleans, he said, well, I know just exactly who you are, and I'd love to do it. And of course, he recorded on this CD, he recorded Sea Cruise, of course, Frankie Ford. So I was really excited to do these kind of songs. So now I did one, of course, earlier, and we talked about it several weeks ago, and it was called Pure Country. And if you remember that one, we did that, and with all the country songs, and I called it Jimmy Sturr and the Nashville Saxons. And then throughout that era, I also did other songs. I did I'm Walking. Remember the old Fats Domino? You remember that one, of course. And Charlie Daniels recorded that with our orchestra. And there were so many other ones. But these I'm proud of. They came out pretty good. In fact, winning Grammys for the whole orchestra. And they were one of our 18 Grammys. This one called Shake, Rattle, and Polka. And this one called Rock and Polka. We hope you enjoyed your weekend, this past weekend, as we paid tribute to, of course, our veterans. No better people in the world than all of our veterans. To us, we say thank you. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Be good, everybody.